In 865 AD, a coalition of Scandinavian warriors, known as the Great Heathen Army, invaded England. Historians disagree about the size of the army, but numbers range from around 1,000 to over 4,000 Viking warriors in total. The Vikings had begun raiding England in the late 8th century, mainly attacking and pillaging centres of wealth, such as monasteries. However, the Great Heathen Army is much larger and had a different objective than the raids. They planned to conquer and occupy the four kingdoms of East Anglia, Northumbria, Mercia and Wessex. The Great Heathen Army was led by three of Ragnar Lothbrok's 5 sons, Ivar the Boneless, Ubba and Halfdan Ragnarsson. Their campaign against the four kingdoms lasted 14 years and came very close to fully occupying England. In 865 AD, the warriors landed in East Anglia, where King Edmund was unable to turn the invaders away. Instead, he decided to buy peace by giving the Danes food and horses. This arrangement was a massive success for the invading army, as it was clear that the Anglo-Saxons were weak, as the cost of providing horses was immense. After wintering in East Anglia, the army made its way northwards to Northumbria, arriving in early 867. At the time, Northumbria was torn by civil war, and, as a result, the Vikings faced little resistance from King Osbert and Ella. This meant that York, an old Roman town, was easily captured by the Vikings. It is during the siege of York that the tale of Ragnar's sons contends that they captured Ella and subjected him to death by blood eagle. Ragnar had supposedly been captured by King Ella and thrown into a snake pit to die in agony. In 869, the Vikings returned to East Anglia, where King Edmund decided to fight. The Danes took victory and killed the king. Apparently, Edmund was given the choice of death or abandoning his Christianity. He chose death. The Vikings then tied him to an oak tree and shot him full of arrows. After the destruction of East Anglia, the Vikings set their sights on Wessex. The King of Wessex, Ethelred, put up a staunch defence and was victorious over the Great Heathen Army, which had been reinforced by Bagsek's summer army. Although initially defeated, the Great Heathen Army and the West Saxons continued to trade blows throughout 871. Much to the Anglo-Saxons' despair, yet another Viking fleet appeared in 871, probably led by Guthrum. It was at this point that King Ethelred died. After much debate, Alfred, his younger brother, was made king, as Ethelred's children were still too young to handle the ongoing crisis. After he was made king, Alfred paid the Vikings to leave. After leaving, the army marched to London in 872, where it wintered. In the spring, the Great Heathen Army marched north to gather reinforcements from York. Then, the army campaigned in northeastern Mercia, quickly subduing the kingdom after its king, Burgred, fled overseas. The Vikings installed another puppet king in his place. The army spent the following winter at Repton, after which it seems to have divided. One group seems to have returned to Northumbria, where they settled, and the other turned to invade Wessex, the last remaining Anglo-Saxon kingdom at this point. The army, led by Guthrum, raided its way through the countryside of Wessex. Initially, they were very successful, and even forced Alfred to go into hiding in the Somerset marshes to avoid the superior Viking forces. However, in the spring of 878, Alfred was able to gather an army. He won victory over the Vikings at the Battle of Edington in 878, where Alfred and Guthrum signed the Treaty of Wedmore, wherein Guthrum was baptised and was to leave Wessex. Things settled down for a while, but in 884, Guthrum decided to attack Kent, where he was defeated by the English. His defeat led to the Treaty of Alfred and Guthrum, which established the boundaries of the Danelaw and allowed for Danish self-rule in this region. Whether the Great Heathen Army's motives were to settle England or to avenge the death of King Ragnar, they were successful. The Danelaw lasted until 954, when Eric Bloodaxe was driven out of Northumbria. Even after the restoration of Anglo-Saxon power, many of the laws and customs from the Danelaw were retained, and its legacy can still be clearly seen today in the place names throughout the region. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. Additionally, feel free to comment any topics you'd like me to cover in the future videos.